marketing agencies, freelancers, anyone in the marketing space. And we get every single publicly available KPI that we can find on businesses, and we put it into a dashboard and then dump it into AI. And we show businesses how they can grow faster. We use that for agencies so they can white label it to those small businesses so they can help those small businesses get results and see the traction that they're getting in their local marketplace. I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to talk a little bit about Google Maps in the local pack, and then go down a breakdown of basically the importance of reviews and how much that matters to getting leads to your business. Because we can go down the line and talk a lot about PPC and LSA, and we can talk about organic rank, and we can talk about backlinks, and we can talk about SEO, and we can talk about all the different things concerning Google for getting your business more leads. But at the end of the day, what matters is how do you acquire a customer for as cheaply as humanly possible. That's all that really matters, especially for the different niches that I'm going to go down, which are local services. We're talking about home service businesses. We're talking about law firms. We're talking about doctors' offices. We're talking about med spas. We're talking about local restaurants. Hotels are a really big one. We're talking about local businesses that compete with other local businesses. And so we're going to talk about Google Maps and the map pack, and we're just going to go down the line here. So let's do it. So just to give you a little background on who I am, my name is Walter. I've got a junk removal company in Nashville, Tennessee. It's called Junk Drop. You can look it up. We've got locations. I'll pull it up right here. We've got locations in Nashville. We've got one in Austin. We've got one in Houston. So we've got 3 different locations, and we specialize in like donation logistics, but it's a junk removal company. It's a home service business. And the way I was able to get all 3 of those companies to over 1,200 reviews in under 5 years was because I understood the importance of those reviews. And we made that a humongous priority inside of our business. It was like a major KPI that we tracked almost more than anything else. And so, let's talk about it a little bit and then go down the line. So, position and search results. 44% of local searchers click on the local 3-pack results compared to 29% for organic results, 19% for paid results, and 8% for more local results. So when you hear all these people talking about PPC arbitrage and Google local service ads, they're only getting a tiny fraction of the actual market. And what's funny is you hear people talk a lot about PPC and you hear people talk a lot about local service ads, but the reality is it's simply supply-demand economics. If there is a ton of supply of competitors that are bidding on the exact same keywords, it's not like you're branching out by doing long tail keywords. The reality is they understand that. They know what long tail keywords are. Like, this isn't a revelation for them. They're bidding on the same long tail keywords. So for example, I'm in junk removal. We're competing with a bunch of big franchises like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Junk King, Junk Luggers, College Hunks, just a bunch of giant franchises that have been in the market for a really, really long time. And 10, 15 years plus. And their ad strategy is guaranteed to be more complex than yours. It's not like, I can just bid on the main keyword, which is junk removal Nashville, and then all of a sudden start getting leads because I found arbitrage in the market. Like, I'm bidding on a long tail keyword, or I'm bidding on something that's unique. They know all of those tricks. And the way Google works is simply a marketplace. Like, if there's tons of competitors, but none of them are bidding on the keyword, then you're going to get it for super cheap. But if everyone is bidding on the same keywords, it's simply just going to be more expensive. And so don't think of it. A lot of people think of it when they think of PPC. This is what they think of. They think that, it's profitable for some people, so it has to be profitable for me. You have no idea what's going on inside of those businesses that are running PPC ads to make those ads profitable. There's a lot of companies that have been bought by private equity that do not care about short-term profitability, that are literally cool with cranking out, 20, 30, 40% of their revenue to Google ads just to be able to hit some revenue target that they have. Or franchises that have goals for each franchisee about what specific revenue target they have to hit. And they're going to outbid you on those keywords for jobs where it's not even profitable. So it literally does not matter what strategy you have or how you're coming across or the copy that you're using. No, everyone's bidding on the same keywords for whatever market you're in. If you're a chicken place locally, if you're a hotel, if you're a restaurant, if you're a home service business, everyone is bidding on the same keywords. And sometimes PPC does work 100% if it's a market that isn't competitive, but in 2025, everything is competitive. It's all tapped out. That is the truth of the matter. And so LSA is the second big product that Google promotes for a lot of businesses, especially home service businesses. Incredibly expensive. You do not want to compete with franchises and companies that are backed by private equity. You want to be able to have, and as I think of it, like the more reviews you have is basically just the more valuable your real estate is. Because each Google My Business profile is essentially real estate on the screen for people that are searching for junk removal companies, for restaurants in Nashville, for hotels in Midtown. And the more reviews you have, the nicer your real estate is. And so the higher Google is going to put your real estate, and the more foot traffic you're going to get, is really the best analogy that I can give. And so there's a lot of different ways to do that. And I don't want to get too in the weeds without going through this a little bit more, but the best way this worked for us, and this varies industry to industry. If you're in a home service business, you need to be incentivizing your guys with KPIs and a specific performance plan to get more reviews. And you need to tell your employees when they get to the job site, they need to incentivize them by giving them a discount at the end of the job if they leave a review, and they won't get a discount unless the review is left by the end of the job. That's how you get a ton of reviews. Is you say, hey, this job's $350, we're gonna give you $20 off, you leave a review. If the service is great, I'd love for you to leave it while we're doing the job. And then by the time we check you out, that $20 will already be in the system, processed. That works incredibly well because the automations, people are sick of it. They get the text. Once the job's done, they don't care. Like the automated text when the job's submitted is done, that goes to their phone. The email says, please leave us a review. That goes on. Like the conversion rate for that, because we have a CRM that does the exact same thing. The conversion rate for that has been so bad. And we've tried doing things that I found on Twitter that are really nuanced and good that work, like a 10% better conversion rate, which is still like not good, which is you misspell things intentionally and say, hey, great meeting you today. Would you mind leaving us a review? And then you misspell reviews. People think that it's like a real person. That works better. But what works the best is just in person, ask for it. Just train your guys to do that. And if they can't do that, they need to go on a PIP, which is performance improvement plan, to be able to figure out why they're not doing that, because it's a huge KPI. They need to track it. Okay, going down the line. The importance by industry. So obviously for home service, it's critically important. It's a super high impact. Why home services depend on it most is high intent emergency situations. They're pipes burst, broken AC, electrical emergency, mobile first searches, immediate action required. So restaurants would be the second highest. The display format includes ratings and prices in the local pack. So with restaurants, they actually have a number, like a number of dollar signs that's by each place, so you can see exactly how expensive each of them are. So the near me really dominates with restaurants. One of the things that I found that was really interesting was for each of these industries, the Google review data matters for different reasons. That was one of the things that I found so cool. Like for law firms and legal services and like medical practices and healthcare, the volume doesn't matter as much, but what people say inside of those reviews is actually critically important. Whereas with restaurants, the volume matters a lot and the images matter a lot on restaurants. But in home services, the images don't matter as much, but the volume also matters an incredible amount. And so that's one of the reasons Localytics is amazing, is because we show you the velocity at which you're getting reviews compared to your competitors. The sentiment inside of it, is it 1 star, is it 5 stars? And then also the total reviews. So who's got the most reviews overall? Which I'm gonna go down here and talk about. There's other businesses where that actually matters a ton. Not the frequency at which they get them, but just the total number. I don't remember which one. I think that actually might be restaurants and food services. Whereas velocity is more important with like the high velocity ones, which is like home service. But yeah, so law firms and legal services, it's what they say inside of the reviews itself versus the frequency at which they're getting them, which is an amazing use case for the Localytics AI, which scrapes every single review that each of their competitors are getting. It puts it into the LLM and it says, hey, the Nashville lawyer market, there's a huge problem with X, Y, and Z, but the market does A, B, and C incredibly well. And then it'll go into details. That's for like the market understanding, right? But then there's also business specific. So you can click on each one of your competitors that's a law firm in the national market, and it'll tell them, okay, Bass, Berry & Sims does an amazing job at price communication, hours billable, and like, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but like in communication with the client, right? But then they don't do a great job at like showing up on time, or like when they communicate, like whatever it could be, it'll literally list that out for each one of the businesses. And so you can see which each one does really well and which one they do poorly. But for law firms and medical practices, the frequency at which they're getting Google reviews actually doesn't really matter that much because they get such a low frequency. So if you go to hotels or restaurants or home service businesses or med spas or retail and shopping, they're going to get a super, super high frequency of reviews. So there's tons more data to pull from. And so you can see with that data, you can see the seasonality. You can see when people are incredibly busy. You can see when people are incredibly slow. So that's another big use case that we've used this for. Is I've got a junk removal company. It's super seasonal. In the spring and summer, we're really busy. And then in the winter, we slow down. We're like 50% of what we are during the spring and summer. And so this data actually shows it because it plots each review all the businesses get on a monthly basis. So every single review every junk removal company got in January, just the sum of those, say it's each company got 50 reviews. There's 10 companies there. There's 500 reviews, 500 reviews. Then you can see 500 reviews January, 600 reviews February, 700 March, and you can see the seasonality. And this is one of the things that helps business owners a lot, is because they want to know, hey, am I slow, or is the market as a whole just really not that busy, right? Or is the economy down? Or is the Nashville plumbing market really busy right now because there's a freeze and a bunch of pipes broke, right? And so, and this is why it's super important. It's specific to the niche and it's specific to the location. When we're getting this data, this isn't just junk removal companies in the United States. Where are the trends? This is junk removal companies in your neighborhood. We can go down to the neighborhood specific, which is where the data gets really, really cool. So review velocity, this is a huge thing that's incredibly important for getting in the map pack. The total number of reviews looks great when you just search a company and you can see, hey, they've got 1,000 reviews. That looks great. But no one will see that if it doesn't show up high in the map pack. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of businesses that have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 reviews, but they, started lacking in the customer service, or they even went out of business. And so Google understands that and they deprioritize them. And so businesses that are getting a high velocity of reviews start going up in front of them. And so marketers have come to understand this, especially recently. In 2024, last year, there was a huge update on Google where they put a massive priority on the Google Map Pack and the Google Maps feature of the Google product lines. And so being in the Map Pack or the review velocity with the sentiment, you can't just get a ton of reviews at 1 star. Obviously, it doesn't help. But getting a ton of reviews over 4.5 is going to get you more business. And it's going to be a snowball that continuously compounds. And so knowing the benchmark that you need to be at is incredibly important, because say you're getting 10 reviews a month and you think you're killing it. That doesn't matter if there's a guy down the street from you and a guy up the block that's getting 15 and 20, and then another one that's getting 30, because then you bump out of the top 3 map pack, and it doesn't matter. So it's all relative at the end of the day. You got the best marketing team, the best review, garnishing company. Like, you have an incredible ability to collect and receive reviews, amazing CRM. But if the guy down the street from you is doing double that, and then other people are too, it doesn't matter. You're not going to show up because they're going to show up in front of you. That's basically it for today. I've been rambling for a long time. If you want to learn about this and more, you can go to localytics.org and sign up for yourself. We'd love to have you.